Investment portfolio update for June 2023. This is the signal within all of the noise. So let's do this. We always, every month, go through our portfolio allocation to see exactly what's going on. I do this on a weekly basis. I break it down with charts and track, my net worth, my cash flow, everything. It's really, think of it as a budget in a way. Budget's really just your income and expense statement. There's three financial statements, and most people don't even have one, to be quite honest. But some people have one: their budget, their income and expense statement, and then truly the people who are wealthy or looking to be wealthy, that would you're going to track other things. You're going to track income and expenses, but you're going to track assets and liabilities. That is the big difference between really the middle class and the poor and the wealthy. So the thing I look at the most is the balance sheet, is the assets and liabilities. And I want to look at cash flow, which is income and expense, but I really do focus more on the asset column. I'm looking at what can I do to sell my dollars, sell my depreciating liabilities for actual assets, and keep adding things to my asset column. True assets, not a car or things like that. A car could be an asset if you're buying a bunch of them and then renting them out and have positive cash flow from that. But in general, I'm not buying jet skis, I'm not buying boats and cars on my own home to live in, because those are liabilities. Those are things that I have to pay each month if I don't turn them into an asset. So what am I doing? How am I building my balance sheet, building my asset column? That's what the wealthy focus on. And that grows over time and builds your net worth and hopefully builds your cash flow over time. So you would think things like gold, silver, Bitcoin, rental real estate, maybe your stocks, dividend paying stocks. You could put life insurance in that category potentially if it's cash value life insurance, things of that nature, and that's kind of an off balance sheet item. Your life insurance for when you are gone someday, and then so those are the big things, right? The big things. I wouldn't even put dollars in that category. I have actually another balance sheet that I look at, a different version, where I have dollars in the liability column, because dollars are depreciating. We know they are going down, just like a car depreciates. So rental real estate is the true asset where you can depreciate it, and it's really an asset to you. So that's why this is so important, to understand what's going on. This is one of the ways. The reason I'm explaining this for the first 2 minutes is because this is one of the big reasons I have increased our net worth 15x over the last decade. Jessica and I, our family office, this is the reason, because of the way we look at our financial statements and the way we focus on things. And the third one is your cash flow statement. So what is really happening when you look at financing and all the different things going on? What's actually happening? Where is cash actually flowing? So there are many sayings that I learned as a kid growing up playing hockey from the coaches that I had. One of the favorites I had, it took me years to figure out: don't think, it weakens the team. Another classic was, it's not the tools, it's the carpenter. Both came from the same AAA coach I had at Little Caesars, Craig Rail. He brought me into AAA hockey, which is the top level of hockey really in the entire country, in Canada and America, and opened up a whole new world of opportunity for me, starting at 9 years old, and set the stage for my life as a professional hockey player. 9 years old is really the first time period where you can start playing AAA hockey. It took me years to figure out that thinking, instead of using your intuition, which we talk a lot about, right? Your intuition, your six higher faculties, one of your six higher faculties is intuition. It took me years to figure out that thinking, instead of using your intuition, would not only hold you back as an athlete, but as a human being as well. And when he said it's the tools, not the carpenter, wow, I can't spell here apparently. So it's the tools, not the carpenter. He meant that life's not about what happens to you, but rather how you react to it that makes the difference. Everything happens to everyone, but not everyone responds the same way. And I have Bob Proctor and Jim Rohn and people like them, Earl Nightingale, to thank for looping that all together for me. What are you going to do with your life that sets you apart? I look at us the same way with investing and preparing ourselves for the unknown in the future. Have hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. That way you have both sides covered. This is precisely why I preach taking care of the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And then when you have those first couple levels, shelter, food, water, things like that, when you have those taken care of, you become more independent and resilient and can take on anything at that point. Then investing becomes fun. You're at the top. You're at self-actualization, the top where you can find your calling, find your passion, and start using your full potential as a human being, what God called you to do. Our portfolio has gone up about 15x in the last decade, like I mentioned, because we take an approach that focuses on owning and controlling our assets. So they are as much in our control as possible. They're bearer assets, as you can see a lot of our portfolio. This was last month's portfolio and what it looked like. And a little bit of change here from this month. So you can check that out and just see kind of the allocation. And it's changed a bit. It's our cash is down. We've bought a lot of Bitcoin over the last year or so when it was down. And we have a little bit different looks. If you go back a year ago, you're going to see it looks a little different. These are a little bit more equally weighted. And I'm not a big person on rebalancing the portfolio necessarily. If I have assets that I know and love, I'm going to put most into that. Right now, I have a lot of real estate. Real estate will start going down a little bit, and then Bitcoin will grow. And can you imagine what it's going to look like in the next year to 2 years once Bitcoin goes into its halving a year from now and starts its bull run again, and it starts eating more and more of the fiat currencies in the world? Bitcoin, not crypto. Bitcoin is holding up well around 4,000 Satoshis per dollar. And this is really the way to look at Bitcoin, not in one Bitcoin, got to get a Bitcoin, got to get a Bitcoin. You're not going to know many people that have one Bitcoin years from now. It's just not going to happen. You're going to think about it in Satoshis. 100 million Satoshis in a dollar. So the banking collapse, the rate hikes, plus the SEC suing and going after scam coins and exchanges bodes well for clearing up the confusion that crypto is trash and there truly only is Bitcoin, what we've been saying forever. Because it's first principles, nature's law. You can't fight it. BlackRock is getting into Bitcoin among other institutions and entities like life insurance companies, money managers, Bhutan. I think we mentioned that last time. Bhutan, countries mining it, volcano bonds in El Salvador. It's only growing. It's only going one direction, just like the hash rate, the strength of the network, moving up as it starts to rain. So this is happening all the while. Governments attack the cryptos, exchanges, and stablecoins. It is truly a beautiful thing to see because this means more freedom for all of us. The peaceful revolution of people sick of governments destroying their wealth, their time, their vote, their voice is here, and the war is being waged now. You might not like war, but war likes you. Every person educating and fighting for freedom and Bitcoin is on the side of peace and liberty and speeding up the change of our system for the better. And remember, this is the alternative they have prepared for you that I've shown now the last handful of months. We put this in 7 months ago, and then we had the collapse. And the FDIC doing exactly what we showed you they're going to do is we leaked this video out, and Mark Moss helped us with this. This is what happens if you save your dollar at the bank and you watch this minute-long clip of them telling you they're going to rug pull you. They will rug pull you. We have about 31% in Bitcoin. And you can look at this in the hot wallets, the cold wallets I like. You can think of it as checking your savings. Take assets into your control, into your custody. Take Bitcoin into your custody, into a cold storage wallet. It only takes a minute. Copying and pasting a code or scanning a QR code, and boom, you've got it. Your own bank, your own vault. You can't do that anywhere else. Real estate, positive cash flowing rental real estate. Finally, we got our Redford single-family rental clean, and it's been a challenge because of all the life challenges going on. So things haven't progressed as fast as I would have liked. Looking forward to selling here and placing this capital in Bitcoin. You can go to this Twitter thread for someone much smarter than me, Alpha Zeta on Twitter. And he's, I believe, he's the CIO or CTO of Swan Bitcoin. And it's someone much smarter than I am. And why Bitcoin is better than physical real estate, something I've been grappling with now for a few years. And now he came out with this thread actually just recently and talked about it just today. I heard him talking about it. So it just came out and kind of corroborated everything I've been thinking. I will mainly focus on investing in multifamily apartments, probably Bitcoin mining companies and self-storage in the future, and being an investor, probably a passive investor in those companies because of the economies of scale, and hopefully we'll be able to collect Bitcoin from those residents. So that's a change as well. I want to collect Bitcoin from people. I don't want to be collecting worthless fiat. We have about 34% in rental real estate. Commodities, gold, silver, oil, uranium, copper, wheat, etc. Primary assets with no counterparty where you control your wealth is never a bad bet. Plus, can provide a lot of cash flow to hedge and protect yourself. Control is a massive characteristic smart investors look for in their investments. Central banks are still on gold buying sprees, which started 10 years ago, which bodes well for holders of the metals. Central banks will end up buying Bitcoin as well, though. Again, it's the game theory of the hardest money ever known to man playing out. It might take 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, but it will happen. We have about 16% in commodities at the current time. paper stocks, bonds, IRAs, etc. Same as last month. Don't have much in here, and don't plan to until phase 2 kicks off when stocks are undervalued. And I like buying when there's blood in the streets. Then you can pick up great rental real estate and dividend value stocks at great prices that throw off great cash flow. Remember, we make money when we buy. Buying intelligently is 95% of the battle. I also like to buy things I know a lot about. Bitcoin, real estate, gold, and silver are three of my areas of expertise. I'm still studying and learning and taking courses on stocks and selling options, etc. Not ready yet. Don't feel quite comfortable. I'm getting there. Paper and real estate are bound to plunge and have an invisible crash against these other assets. So they're either going to visibly crash in front of your eyes or they're going to invisibly crash, which I'll show you in a second. And go to our prior letters to see here, click this link to see what exactly it means. And the link in the bio in this video as well will take you to these items. And this link will take you to our previous letters where we give an explanation of what phase 2 means. So right now we have about 2% in paper. And this is the Dow to gold ratio. This is how you figure out if things are good investments compared to each other or not. You have to divide things against each other to determine actual value. And here, good times to buy stocks were in the Great Depression, and then you had here this was good times to buy gold were down. Or I'm sorry. This is when gold is up. So gold went way up in 1980. This is a great time to buy stocks. Gold is way overvalued. Stocks are undervalued. Same as down here. In general, 5 is kind of that median, right? So anything below, historically, anything below 5 in this ratio, the Dow to gold ratio, is a great time to buy stocks. Great time. So we're way up here still. We're still up at 15, 20. So stocks are overvalued compared to gold and silver. That's, again, how you figure out what assets to be buying. And that strategy right there is how I play all the asset classes. It's how I play Bitcoin. It's how I play everything. This is how we have continued to increase our wealth over time because I look at things from a really holistic point of view. This is kind of the secret to the sauce. The cash and businesses. Patiently building and growing our education while stacking cash and Satoshis. A little more Satoshis than we are cash now, and waiting to see what will play out. I will only be in cash for another 6 to 9 months or so as I keep buying more Bitcoin as I dollar cost average in, and we will probably buy a little bit more gold as well. I want to stay liquid, and those assets are perfect as they increase in purchasing power, and I could trade out for cash flowing assets eventually. Cash on hand is also good in case our long-term view of inflation is wrong. If we experience massive deflation and the dollar increasing in strength, the DXY, then we will be able to use the dry powder of the cash to buy many more assets as well. Crashes take usually 2 to 3 years to play out and fully bottom, but don't plan on things working out like you think they will. I have learned that lesson over the years. We have about 17% cash. And this is a great chart because this shows true inflation. This is the 1980 version of how we looked at inflation. The blue line is the real inflation of how we looked at it. So it still is up at 12, 13%. But the new government version is showing us at 4%. So you tell me, and we've been way elevated levels this whole time. This is why people are hurting. And there's still a lot of cash sloshing around in the system though. So if you want to get a true picture of actually what's going on, you have to look at the Dow to gold ratio, things like this. You have to look at the real inflation. You have to look at real interest rates. The interest rates minus real inflation. So the interest rates are, 5% minus the real interest rate, or real inflation, which is 12%. So you're still -7. You're still -7% each year, losing cash, losing value. The nominal rate is the interest rates, say 5%, the 10-year, or 4%, I guess, but minus 4%. So 4 minus 4 is 0. So yeah, you're even, I guess. That compared, if you believe the government. This is why people continually lose because they're saving liabilities, dollars, they think are assets. This is it in a nutshell. Remember, I want us all to remember that we can become independent and resilient the less we need our overlords. If we can do that, the less we need our overlords, and the easier we sleep at night. This means more prosperity, more liberty, higher standard of living, and lower costs. The Fed is going to continue to be behind the curve and struggle to do either of their mandates, which is keeping a steady employment and inflation at low and stable prices. They are good either. This is the publicly stated goal of low inflation and stable prices and steady employment. The real goal is enriching the owners of their bank. Yes, they have owners. It's not private, or it's not federal, it's private, and there's no reserves. They have nothing in there. So they conjure up currency out of thin air. This is all documented and chronicled in Jerry Griffin's The Creature from Jekyll Island, which is an unbelievable read. I believe it's on YouTube to listen to. You have to go check it out if you want to understand the system. Because once you understand this, the whole world opens up to you, and you can make better decisions for you and your family and become a wealthier and more free human being. Stay strong. Please share this out. Remember, I'm a student. I'm no expert. This is just what I'm doing, what I've seen, what's worked for me over the years. So you can check this out. Link in the description below. Please share this out because the algorithm hates truth. I appreciate you coming to my TED Talk. It's not financial advice, it's freedom advice. I question everything with boldness, even the existence of God himself. I'll see you on the next one.